Saturday Night Talk it is. Good evening, everyone. So, I didn't want to delay you. I did advertise that we would be on at 5 p.m. tonight. There were some technical difficulties, got that worked out. Waiting for my partner to come on. Did get a message, but tonight, there's so much to talk about. My question is anybody paying attention to what's going on? So I'm going to try and put up some things that I read in the news. You may not believe me, so I'm going to put up, share some content. I think that it is important to let people see what's going on, because we all read different things, we all watch different things. But what I've noticed is people don't like change. Why is that? Change is good. There's who's watching the events that's going on, who's reading, or is it too much? Is it too much to watch? Is it too much to see? You know, I'm just wondering because sorry, my eye was itching. Well, it's live. So, I just want to say we know that there are so many people that keep confusion going. But this is the time to come together. This is the time, I think. Let me know if you think as well. It's time. For people to come together, talk about the different stressors of the world. For those that don't do a lot of talking, but are getting involved in so many different angles, so many different levels. Um, what's baffling to me is that how everyone is writing a book about how they feel and who's talking about what's going on in the community. So I'm going to try and wait for Deb to come on, and I see you. I will put let me just go ahead and put the link on in the comments section for those that want to come on, those that want to talk about what they're noticing in their community. It's a lot. This we know. So stand by. Let me go ahead and try to add the link. I just feel like it's time to talk about some things. And if you're noticing anything uh, that's in your community, like all this different stuff. Um, I put the link in there, and I'll also go ahead and uh, put it on, well, I'll go ahead and pin it on YouTube. So get the link. It's on YouTube. You can get it right here, but it's best to get the link on YouTube. That way you can come on the platform with us and we can talk about some of this stuff. There's issues, okay? We know there's issues. So there's new studies. Did anybody notice or read about the new studies? How racism and discrimination should be viewed as a public threat. What do you think about that? Do you think it should be viewed as a public threat? Um, there's housing for veterans. There's so much going on. Mental illness system, how that has changed. There's other things. I was reading on my personal page about someone being admitted and then they couldn't find the person. Listen, I want to challenge the medical staff to get out of regular itinerary and start using and doing critical thinking, because that is also something we're going to have to do, and we're going to have to change up. You know, people are going to have to use their common sense. Let me see, while I'm waiting on Deb again, let me see. I'm going to pin it to YouTube, but I'm thinking that it's already um, in the comments section. But I'll make sure that I put it on there so that you can grasp it faster if the comments section starts taking off. And like I said, I do have something to show you guys, and I just want to go over some of the things that I've been reading about and wanted to see if you've been reading about them. And not only that, if you have something to say about it. I see some people watching, not seeing you in the comment. Go ahead and say something in the comment. Go ahead and grab the link if you so choose, because I'm ready to talk. Is anybody ready to talk? So, yeah, as I don't know if I should come on again later or if I should just wait for Deb to come on. So I have pinned the message, and like I said, I just want to talk about some of the things that's going on in our community. Um, Come on and say hello, like that subscribe button, because I think I've decided what I am going to talk about as we move forward in the summer months. You know, we're getting ready to uh, add more content, get ready to talk about health and wellness, getting ready to talk about um, things that will help people to get in a better space. Because I know you saw, let me see if I can just go ahead and share it. I didn't get the memo that she wasn't going to come, but let me see if I can share some info, share my screen with you. And show you what I'm talking about. So there were like 3 different things that were happening. A Walmart employee was shot and killed. The world views about the everybody was talking about the Atlanta shooting. The mother just so happened to be a nurse. So let me see if I can share that with you. I don't know. Let me know if you saw that or if you read about it. Um, and we can go over it. Let's see. Okay, so that's what I'm going to share. Did anybody read about this? The mother was a nurse and she kept telling them that she needed help with her son. She got the help, but they were going back to the doctor's office to get his medication adjusted. So, did anybody see that? Um, so, the mother, this is where the gentleman was shooting in the hospital waiting room, and she has blamed since then, has blamed, them for not helping her son. So he's 24, and this is what was happening last week. And so this, did anybody read that? That's what I wanted to show you. Their mother was taking them to the hospital, and she even said, it was there they found 5 victims, including 39-year-old Army Saint Pierre, who was declared dead at the scene. My condolences to the family that has to deal with this. But I wanted to say, that the mother has been asking for Ativan to get him to calm down. And what actually happened was he was anxious. And so, because he was anxious, she asked for the Ativan to relieve the anxiety. And one of the doctors even said they didn't want to give him. She asked him for a sedative, and they said that they didn't want to give it to him because it was too addictive. But here's the thing: she's a nurse, and because she's a nurse, I'm not. I'm trying to understand why we can't do critical thinking when we know what's going on with our loved ones, and we are with them, we eat with them, we do everything with them, we listen to them more so than anyone else. So that's another reason why I was trying to pull up different things on our platform, because like I say, you may not believe me, but I'm watching this, and I got this from, just so that we know, I think I need to put up a disclaimer. This is for learning purposes, because it is important for us to see these things. People are talking about it on a regular basis. We need to talk about health and wellness. We need to talk about mental illness. It all goes hand in hand. Hi, Deb, I see you. Let me unshare and bring you on so that we can talk about some things. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I was traveling and pulled over to do this. You're fine. I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I just went on and started because as I was saying, I did advertise, I did ask for people to come on today. As you can see, I've been working all day, and I'm doing the best I can. But I wanted to talk about some of these things and try to understand. Did you say you were driving? Are you headed
I pulled
somewhere?
over. I'm not driving now. I've stopped. How are you?
Oh,
No, but I
okay.
heard what you were saying about the Ativan. So yeah, I heard you backstage.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you hear about this gentleman that was in Atlanta, was in the hospital? The mother is a nurse, and uh he killed 5 people. She stayed to help locate him. But that's my problem. At what point do we not come together and say, what we notice about our loved ones if they're suffering and how we can help them to get them into a sweet space. So now with this coming to the forefront, it just saddens me. And there's so much going on in the world. I was like, people aren't going to believe me. Everybody's reading different things. Well, I'm not trying to be entertained. I'm trying to understand the why, and why can't we come together uh, to diffuse some of this mental illness that's going on.
Well, I think we're going to have to become more aware and have better training to identify. I think that there's a lot of stigma associated with mental health. Matter of fact, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. May is, and I have my green ribbon on for that. It's I honestly think that for a long time, that stigma is nothing's wrong with them. They're just having a bad day, you know. Um, and we've kind of kept sweeping it under the rug and not wanting to call it what it is. Um,
Yeah.
that these people might need to talk to someone else. We might need to involve adult protective services or other agencies to go check on them. You know, you may even need to have law enforcement is sometime trained in wellness checks with individuals. Um, we don't want to do that. I think people kind of think, Jewel, as long as it's not affecting me and mine, I'm gonna stay in my lane, and it's not that big of a deal. But now people struggling with mental illness are going to schools um in outrage, and they're doing this in other venues for that matter. And we've got, when we see that there's problems and people struggling with anxiety, we've got to talk to them. And, you know, in this case, his mother was a healthcare professional. She knew her child.
Yeah. And he
And
listened
probably
to
because
her.
he was an adult. Yeah, he was an adult. And because he's an adult, there you go with HIPAA and all of these other things that kind of protect them. But where are those individuals now? They weren't protected. That harms each other. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know how we improve this situation.
Oh yeah, and you're right. Your connection is going out, but yeah, you're right about that. The HIPAA thing, and as they say, as she's connecting to come back on, I just want to say about that. HIPAA, where you're protecting people, but at this point, I feel like if you are not in a good space, now here's one of the things, people, you know, if you're not in a good space, now you need to sign a living will, or sign where someone can speak on your behalf, because we can minimize some of these things from happening. Okay, so that's something that we definitely need to get under control, because at what point do you, and are you able to speak on behalf of someone who is not doing okay? Now, I have something else, other issues. We're talking about issues in the world. Um, because most people are saying that they're okay when really and truly they're not okay. And the thing is, when your loved one or someone close to you lets you know that they see a change in you, it, it's hard, but you gotta trust somebody. You gotta listen to somebody, okay? Because there is an issue, and to reduce a lot of these issues, We're going to have to learn to start trusting and talking to people, just because everybody is not okay. Some people are heightened, they're not in a good place. Some people call it manic. These are terms that you're going to have to learn, because it'll help you to understand a little bit more. And people are going to have to start understanding a little bit more the terms, what to look for, how to help. So while she's coming on, I'm going to show you another um, screen where um, there was another episode. Let me see. Walmart employee. Did you hear about this one? It saddens me to say, but this Walmart employee shoots a customer, uh, and you know, an off-duty Walmart employee fatally shot a customer who tried to help a female employee who had gotten into a fight with the off-duty employee. This was in Florida. The young man was 22, now charged with first degree murder. You know, there's a lot of people in jail because of mental illness. According to this investigation, this young man went to the store to meet with a female. They got into an altercation, and the argument escalated into a fight with Sterling dropping a handgun on the floor. Then a male customer came to the woman's aid, but Sterling retrieved his gun and shot the man several times, killing him. Like, this is so sad. The victim's name and age has not been released. Um, just another senseless, violent act unnecessarily. These are the things that bother me. And I think that if we can learn to, see what's going on. There's been episodes where people are getting fired at work, and they people don't realize that there's something going on. So instead of getting them help, you want to fire them. Well, you're going to have to learn how to talk to people. You're going to have to find out what's really going on. What is it that we can do to help? What is it that we can do to support? That's very important, especially in these times. I am trying to see, while I'm waiting on Deb, this may be a long one just because she's out and about. Not sure if she's going to come back on, but I wanted to talk to you about these things and housing for the veterans, and the mental health system is really broke. Okay, it's broken. And a lot of us who are in the community, not just clinical, um, can help. I think I can be of big service. So I would like um, uh, for some of these medical professionals to come on, to speak on how we can come together, have a platform where we have solutions, or just simply talk about what we're noticing um, in the community. So I'm going to share a few things if I can while I'm waiting, and see how we can get other people to join into the conversation. You know what I mean? Because it is important, it is imperative, and we do need to come together uh, so that we can come up with a solution to some of these problems. Um, So yeah, so what I'm trying to do is just share and get other people to come on. I see you, Deb. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. You
Thank
made it
you.
in.
I made it
Yeah.
in.
Well, that was fine. Like I said, I was just trying to go on because, yes, what were you saying before we got disconnected?
I We have to somehow try to figure out how we can educate individuals about different forms of mental illness and what the signs are. I don't know if that's something we can address on this platform and really dive in and say, these are some anxiety system or symptoms, or, you know, and make some suggestions for people that are dealing with, anxiety.
Yeah, I think it's time to take it a little bit deeper. I think it's time, since we have information and resources, it's
Mhm.
okay to talk about it. I know that there are certain words, but right now, um, I just said, there's a disclaimer. Right now, we need to educate. If we can continue to do that on a weekly basis, then let's do so. I'm not sure if you saw uh, the clip that I just showed about the young man at the Walmart who
No, I did not see the clip. I was trying to get a better internet connection.
Okay, I'll put that back up and then we'll talk about that and then I'll let you speak on it as well. So let me put it back up so that you can read it. Well, I'll read it or you can read it, but I'll put the presentation back up and I probably should have just left it where I could have put it back up. Okay, so here it is. This is about the gentleman. Uh, his name, this young man was 22 years old. This is from Newsbreak, and I get these all the time. And it just baffles me how the world is just reading, or like I say, want to be entertained. But we got to start looking at the stuff that's going on, statewide. This young man, Walmart employee, fatally shoots customer, investigator says. So, an off duty Walmart employee fatally shot a customer who tried to help a female employee who had gotten into a fight with the off duty employee. Florida law enforcement officials said Wednesday. This young man, who's 22, is charged now with first-degree murder for Tuesday afternoon shooting at a suburban Fort Lauderdale Walmart. And I'm just going to skip through, according to the investigation, Sterling went to the Walmart, got into it with a female colleague. They got into an argument that escalated into a fight with this young man dropping his handgun on the floor. A male customer came to the woman's aid, but this young man retrieved the gun and shot the man several times and killed him. So, listen, another senseless, violent situation. And what saddens me is that he was only 22. And if we notice some of these um, events taking place, it's clear that people are struggling. And so, what do you say about that?
It's clear they're struggling, and it is clear they're not asking for help. But I also feel, Jewel, and you know this, sometimes you can see things in an individual's behavior.
Right.
Their
Which is what,
mannerisms change, their attitude change. They seem a little more frustrated, edgy. Their vocal tones change in simple, they have triggers. So there are things that if people were educated about, they might be able to identify and alert individuals. And I am really concerned for our school systems, because are we educating our educators well enough? Are we in it training store employees well enough to identify when things happen?
well, I don't think so. And I also think it's everybody's not medical, but now that we know that this is a big issue, uh, my thing is, how do you train people? You know what I'm saying? We have gotten so disconnected that we don't even know our neighbors.
Mm-mm.
So we
You're
don't
right.
know how to interact with people and know what they're doing or what they're not doing. That's a problem. We're so disconnected that even people we were close to are disconnected. You know, they
Hmm.
don't call, they don't
You're right.
meet for dinner or for lunch. There's a lot of of what we don't do, which is why we can't see what's going on with people anymore. Nobody's connecting. Everybody wants to be entertained. Everybody's trying to look good, uh, be creative, but in a different way. I mean, it's okay to be creative and have your own platforms and stuff, but for entertainment purposes. But at what point do we start coming together for real issues? You know,
I agree. Well, I think COVID did a lot of has made more impact than we truly know, not just from individuals that died as a part of COVID, but now coming out, post COVID, and people not having that interaction of time and had all that time closed up to really think and overthink. And did this raise mental health to an entirely different level? And did we think that shutting down, we would see all of the violence that we're seeing from state to state, with people using handguns, going into shopping malls, going into schools, things like that? Um, I really think we're going to have to get back to the drawing board. And I, I I think in our case, I really think we need to say, hey, these are the traits of someone that might be bipolar. These might be the traits of someone that might be schizophrenic. Are we saying that everyone will have that? No. But these are some identifying markers, and you can start a safe conversation with an individual and say, hey, um, you seem a little more frustrated or edgy. Is everything okay?
well, that's the thing. I think we have to quit saying, is everything okay? Anticipating them to say, oh, yeah, because you already know it's not. You already know it's not okay.
Well,
So that's something that we have to pay attention to, I think.
and I agree, but if they say that everything's okay, why? then you could say, "Hey, I noticed this about your behavior. You seem a little bit more edgy. You seem frustrated. I noticed that your vocal tone is a little louder and more boisterous. Um, so I'm just concerned." And we've got to watch it, and we've got to, kind of be our brother's keeper right now and let people know, hey, I have some resources. I have a book I want you to read. I have some information I want you to review. And, if you need someone to talk to, call me, or, you know, if you need a professional, let's work through this together. Um, I think employers, a lot of employers this week, I got a lot of phone calls from EAP services for employees that are having problems and are needing counseling. Sometimes, if you don't want to tell anyone and your employer offers that, go
Yeah.
to them and try to tap into some resources. If you watch the replay on this, reach out to Jewel. She's more than willing to sit down and see if there's some medical things that are going on. I think
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
diet, and all we can do is put it out there and show people that we care and point them in the correct in a direction that they may not be aware of. Um, we can't force anyone to do anything, but this is a problem. And I do, and if we don't get some handles on it somehow, this might be our next pandemic.
Well, I think it's already an epidemic.
Yeah.
So we're not that far away from a pandemic,
Yeah.
dealing with that. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on. Now, I do have there's like this is cracking me up. When I say cracking me up, not in a funny way, but in a way that makes me wonder, what are people thinking? Now, I mentioned earlier about the housing for veterans. I want to know why there's no urgency. I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm kind of over these. I want to say these people who are in a position and they make the decisions for a lot of things. And it, why are veterans having a hard time finding a place to live when they serve our country and they are on hold or on the back burner? Why is it that people with children are still homeless, no place to cook food, healthy food? You know, I'm trying to understand, where is the urgency or the lack thereof for mental health, the mental health system. Now, I was going to go on my personal page when I read about someone that we both know who was taken to a facility in Chicago, and the loved one signed the papers to speak on their behalf, but they get to the facility and they wouldn't let them know where they were. Thankfully, they were able to find their loved one, and hopefully they got them back home and can care for them. But I want to talk to those people. Let me help you to understand what you need to do when
Yeah.
you go into these facilities. Let me help you understand what you can do to keep your loved one at home and get proper care. Let me help you find the right people to care for your loved ones around the clock, so that you won't have to send them to another county and not even know if your loved one is taken care of. That's a problem. I've got a problem with this world right now, and I've got a
I
problem
agree.
with the medical professionals right now. I've got a problem with the workforce right now.
Mhm.
There's so many things that's going on in a workforce. When you get rid of your employee, but you didn't even recognize that the employee had a problem. I got a problem with this. And so, yeah, I'm willing to talk about this stuff on my page. Whether people come on or not, I don't care if it's 5 years from now. It will be archived. It's documented. And I'm challenging people to come on the platform so that they can talk.
I agree. Um, I am a little shocked with the problems that veterans who served in the military have in obtaining not only housing, but obtaining some of their benefits that they're entitled to.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the proper health care system for them, the wait time to get into for medical treatment at these VA hospitals are very, very long. Um, and if they move from one state to the other state, it's almost like they have to start all back over in the process in that state again. I think we have invested, in my opinion, too much money helping other countries take care of things that are their business to take care of. And we're not doing our due diligence to take care of those that served and protected us when during wartime and non-wartime. I
Yeah.
am not happy that we just kind of push them to the side, and we will get to them when we can. And some of these individuals wait weeks to get into the VA hospitals,
Yeah.
for appointments. And if they need checkups when they before they leave that appointment that they're at, they better be scheduling, because I guarantee you if they go home, it's going to be 2 or 3 months before they can get back in. Something needs to be done about that.
Yeah.
And if you're seeing it there, it's definitely something that I have encountered. Matter of fact, there was a gentleman who came through our warming station in December. A veteran moved for California and had tried for 2 years to reestablish his VA benefits in Tennessee and kept hitting brick walls, didn't understand the process, became very frustrated, quit trying, and needed medical care. And I literally had to sit down and do case management. You go here and you see this person and tell them and show them your card from California so that they can look you up and see that this is credible. And he had just been kind of pushed from place to place. Nobody wanted to deal with it.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to deal with it. And when he came, I said, and when you get done with that person, you come right back, because if he turns you away and he doesn't help you, then I'm going to call him for you and I'm going to advocate that this getting taken care of. And once he was that aggressive, sometimes you have to push people. Oh, I don't want to bother them. You're not bothering them. That's their job. And you served your country and you're entitled to this. And if they're bothered by helping you, then maybe they need a different job.
Right. And that's another thing too. People are like, "Oh, it could be worse." I was watching something the other day, and one person said something like, um "Oh, I don't want to get involved. My situation's not that bad. It could be worse." Listen, there comes a time where you put yourself first. you know yeah, it could be bad, or not as bad, but at what point do you put yourself first? At what point do you feel that you are just as worthy, that you deserve care, that you deserve self-care, that you deserve anything that they have to offer to make you and help you get in a better place? That's what's needed. And people, they put themselves last. And that's what's sad.
I agree. I don't think people understand how important self care is. I think a lot of times, Jewel, through the years, we've taken care of other people, we've done things for other people, and we put ourselves at the bottom of the list. And we've got to turn that table. We've got to, because if you get in the system, they're going to try to eliminate you as quickly as possible in some cases, or overlook you, or not give you the proper type of care, because they're going to know that you neglected yourself. So, you evidently don't care. And, hey, if you don't care, I don't care. I'm not going to care more than you. That's the mentality out there, in some areas of our society now. So I don't know, but I totally agree with you about the military. Um, Housing is a problem for veterans, I believe, across the United States. And if you go on grants.gov, you will see all kinds of grants out there, housing dollars for veterans. Um, Most communities do not have housing for veterans, and most communities do not have housing for moms with children. And, some of these women, um, have been victims of domestic violence situations. Um, Horrible, horrible, things are going on in our society right now. A lot of sex trafficking is going on, and we don't want to talk about that. And we just don't have, I feel, the safe places that we need to have. We don't have those established safe houses for individuals that are in those crises, but they are in everyone's community.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but that is true. And that's the thing. Is it because people, you used to know about stuff, and you, I'm just trying to figure out, why are people so oblivious to what's going on in the real world? Uh,
Our
I don't know.
society, Jewel, has become, we're all in our own little silo. We work in silos now. And as long as I stay in my silo, it's not bothering me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And you hear it. I hear it every day. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it is in your silo. You just don't know it's in your silo.
Well, let me ask you this. That's true too, because they know everybody else's business about
Hmm.
other stuff, but they know about everybody's business that has nothing it doesn't help the world. It's superficial. Okay,
Absolutely.
now I read about this. There is a man, it's not here, it's in Canada. Now, can I tell you, a man opened up a shop to sell hard drugs, and they arrested him. And what did he say? He said he's going to fight it, because hard drugs, cocaine, heroin, and other drugs, he plans to challenge his arrest. He's going to argue that contaminated drugs supplies cause harm. That's another issue. You got people now. Here's the thing: somebody had to have read about that and had to have spread the gossip. but nobody's doing anything about it. Same thing about being here. We see everything, we read everything, but we spread the gossip. But people don't want to get involved and come up with a solution. What the what?
I know. Well, this whole drug thing, I'm telling you, every state, every country, it seems like is coming up with its own policy of what is legal, what is classified as hard as far as certain opiates. And we got to be careful because now there's so much fentanyl out here. I mean, it's hard, all right. If it's got some fentanyl in it, it can be hard and deadly.
Listen, how many people did you read about in the news last week? They verified their death, and come to find out, fentanyl laced with something. People are out here doing drugs and they don't even know what's what. It's laced with something. Like you mentioned last week, you don't want to even go to your drug dealer or whoever they are, because you don't know what they're doing. Because at this point, people want money. They'll do anything for money. But this guy, he's got the nerve to say he was going to fight his arrest. Because why? What did he say? Because, and I quote, um, he's going to argue contaminated drug supplies cause harm. What the what? So, what you mean to tell me you're going to have a mobile drug uh, shop? He's opening up. It says a mobile drug shop, but I don't know. I didn't save that one. If I did, I'll find out in a minute. But he's going to challenge that contaminated drug supplies cause harm. Drugs, period, cause harm. So how are you going to argue that? But then again, that's not here. That's in Canada. But still, somebody with that mindset will think they can do it here. And
They'll try it, but I'm going to tell you, Jewel, I got all kinds of red flags when you were talking about that. That person has some mental health stuff going on.
clearly,
Clearly.
yeah,
And to think that he can justify that in a judicial system is quite alarming. But what is more alarming, that he must have the money, he feels, to make that type of investment to try to fight it and prove it. So how much money has he probably made in his mobile business that he feels it's worth standing up um, for his rights? But there
good
are so many
question.
people that are dying every day
Yeah,
in this country from drugs that have been laced with fentanyl. And these pill presses are everywhere.
yeah,
People are pressing these drugs out to look alike and putting other stuff in it. Um, they're talking about some of the vape cartridges I've been reading possibly have been laced with fentanyl. And we've got to be careful. I mean, we just can't trust people on the street. They could be your family member for that matter. You don't know where that person got it from, or the person
right,
that got it, and it goes on down. You may have bought it from the same person you bought your stuff from for 10 or 15 years. However, he may have changed, or that person may have changed. So you honestly do not know. And I'm telling you, this whole fentanyl thing, um,
it's
it's
off the
gone to a
chain.
whole nother level, Jewel.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just I have never. I'm just like it's so many different angles
Hmm.
to this thing called life. I have never been so outdone in a long time. And the fact that people just don't, it's like, okay, you say something, they don't know. My question is, what are you watching? What are you reading? Why do you not know? People used to, back in the day, even the old folks, the more mature folks used to know what was going on in the neighborhood. They knew what you were eating, what you weren't eating. Nowadays, you don't know. Folks say they don't know anything, or is that just something they adopted? They say they don't know, but yet they'll go next door, they'll go to their friend, and they'll say, "Oh, did you know so and so, such and such and such and such?" And they get to talking about it, but nobody knows where to go to make changes. So that's why I say this platform is needed, because we need to make some changes. We need to start talking about different things. There's a lady that we both know who wants to come on air, but she can't work the platform. So I'm going to have to help people to learn how to work the platform, because they've got some gems and nuggets that they can talk about, and I'm sure they would appreciate it and look forward to speaking to other people, because as we know, um, we're still in these unprecedented times. And oh, by the way, I think they said May 12th they're going to reduce the COVID, or I think I'll call it um, the vid, instead of what we're known for calling it, by May 12th. But yet the numbers aren't down. People are moving around as if it is. And in addition to that, what can I say about it? We've got all these different derivatives. Some people have ear infections. Some people have strep throat. Some people have what they thought was the flu. Don't people know that this is what is deriving from what we know since 2020? So I think let me see if I can pull that article up. I've got so much to share. It's so much to talk about, but I don't know if I can do it all in one sitting. We'll have to uh, separate this stuff. Let me try to see what else I've got in my repertoire to share.
You go,
Okay,
girl. I
girl, is
want to
so
hear it
much.
because I know that strep throat, ear infections, people they're talking about that nano fog has been here. People are saying that they're spraying stuff in the atmosphere. I can say in the area of Tennessee that I am in, I am seeing more individuals wearing masks now again in the store. I'm seeing more masks out in public now. We have a cancer treatment center in our community, and they are having their their patients' loved ones not enter the facility. They're having them sit outside now in their
Oh,
office chairs. They're not even allowing them in the building, just the nursing staff and those individuals that are going for chemo and radiation. And I've noticed that the past 3 or 4 weeks. And I said, well, that tells you something about the illness that's in our community.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of illness in the community. That's for certain. Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, so I won't be able to find the other stuff, but I will find it. And if you have any articles you want to share, feel free to share. We can do that as well. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff in the communities, and it's good for people to keep washing their hands. It's good for people to keep wearing their mask. I know in one of the facilities that I'm in, um, they're not wearing them, but for me, like I told you, not doing the hospital thing. So I am in a facility where early in the morning till afternoon, I wear my mask, I wash my hands, I wear my lab coat. Because listen, let me tell you something. And what's baffling is some of these physicians, I think they're just so used to an itinerary that they're not, like, they're just going through the motion. They're not even putting in, and I'm just speaking for some, not all, where they're not continuing education, where they're not protecting their people or bringing in information or even doing their own research for their own family. But I don't know why that is. Like, what is it that make people think that it's okay, and why they're not enforcing um universal precautions? Why they haven't said, okay, it may be reduced down, but then at what point do they get the data that says the numbers are on the rise again?
Yeah, I'm wondering, but you know what I've been thinking, Jewel? When you said May 12th, they are trying to ride this wave because it's the end of school year. They have
Oh,
all these graduations, all the end of festivities. They don't want to put any alerts or notifications out there to disrupt anyone's commencement. They don't want to disrupt any school field day, any special end of the year trips. But I believe before Labor Day, we are going to hear a whole, well, not Labor Day, Memorial Day is this month. I believe by the end of May, we're going to hear a lot of information that probably has been concealed because they don't want to disrupt all the commencements like what happened before.
but see, we're talking about human beings. We're talking about life. And money cannot be more important than life.
Mm-mm.
See,
Well, you have to realize we do have people in our society that still doesn't believe COVID even existed.
true.
I hate to say that. They just think that it wasn't COVID. Um, so people are not taking it that serious. And I have heard that certain governors in some states have said that if another strain does come out, they will not shut down their state like they did before because they heard so much backlash from individuals. The federal government did all those stimulus type payments, and people didn't go to work and people stayed home. And it really impacted a lot of major industries and businesses because of that. So the governors have now taken stance in multiple states that if something happens, they put that responsibility as governing instead of the entire United States. It's going state by state. And if you have a governor that doesn't want to see decrease in his revenue, then hey, there might be COVID. You just gonna have to go to work.
You know, it's really sad. It really is. But yeah, I think we're in a bad place. I think we're in a place where people are greedy.
Oh,
I think we have adopted many bad habits as a society. But
yes.
what's really sad is that people like you and myself, they don't want to listen to us. They rather listen to everything else, but people that make sense. I'm a firm believer that if you make sense, you are not popular. But what I will say is, what they say back in the day: a hard head makes a soft behind. You're gonna listen eventually, and then you're gonna be rushing for answers, and then that's part of the problem. You can't rush for answers. Things take
Mm-mm.
time. And so who knows? But all I know is I don't know. But I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep bringing up articles. I guess I'll have to email myself so we'll have a place to pull it up and
Right.
share information because they're not going to believe us. But if we put the article up, they'll be able to see that it's time to educate. If they don't get out to see what's going on in their community, then maybe people send me stuff all the time, so I can put it on the platform so people can see this is what's happening and how are we going to handle this, because a lot of stuff that's happening could have been prevented had people have started, communicated. Let's communicate. Let's talk about these things. Let's talk about what's going on. Let them see what's not okay. Just
That's true. I totally agree. I think we're just going to have to break it down in smaller bite-sized pieces, and we're going to continue to talk about and educate. So we're going to say, hey, we're going to talk about depression. Everyone has experienced some form of depression in their life.
wow,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
When do you really realize that, hey, this is going deeper? We've all had moments of sadness.
We all have. And I think that's another thing. People don't realize that they get to forgetting. People forget and they don't, and they'll, well, did I tell you this? And did I, that forgetfulness is a stressor, especially when you can't just say, oh, I'm getting older. And no, that's a symptom of anxiety and stress when you forget what you said to somebody. Now, especially if it's on a regular, we all forget stuff, but when it's starting, you know, people just don't want to admit that they're going through or they're stressing out, especially if they don't have the tools to decompress, you
Absolutely.
see. So yeah, we can change up the format. We're gonna have to come on here and let people know this is a place, and then we can talk about the topic. But if they want a one-on-one, we can do it off of the live, because
Absolutely.
yeah, people are going to have to like take this thing seriously and realize if you want to be in a better space, quit lying, tell the truth, you know, get some help, talk to somebody. You don't want to talk to me, fine, talk to your doctor. But who can you call after the doctor's hours, after 5 6 o'clock, or after 7 o'clock? There's some doctors open till 7, but I bet you can't talk to them. You're going to have to make another appointment, and that may be 2 months later, 3 months later. Some are 4 months later. So
Absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
yeah, but
And the summer months sometimes are the worst because people are booking all those physicals and whatever for their children to try to get those things done over the summertime, especially if they're going away to college. They want to have all that stuff done. So you're going to really have difficulty finding appointments during.
yeah,
certain times of certain seasons.
Absolutely. And then open enrollment.
Mhm,
That's a busy time, busy time, busy time. And you
mhm.
can't always get in. You can't always talk to your doctor. And you know what I will say? You are right about that one thing when you mentioned these nurse practitioners.
Mhm.
Girl, are you kidding me? I literally met one the other day.
Oh
Uh,
my.
OMG. And why? Yeah, I don't know if it's because it's cheaper to hire a nurse practitioner than a
It is.
physician, but let
It,
me tell you something. If they don't, I don't know. I didn't want to do it because I knew I would get fired. I'm not going to spend 30 minutes with a patient and say that I've done my due diligence. That's why I stay on my in my lane, because I can spend as much time with the person as long as I want. I'm not a doctor. I'm not one to diagnose you. However, I can help you to ask the doctor. So when you make your doctor's appointment, you can get all your questions in that same visit, because a lot of people, they're not going to have that luxury. And the medication, I talked about that. The fact that people can't even get their medications prescribed on time, but they've been prescribed uh, diabetes medication, they've been prescribed heart medication, all these thyroid medication. But if they can't get the medication, then what you gonna do? So that's another reason why they can contact me. But I'm just gonna put it out there. I think I put it in, not the description box, or maybe I did. Go to the link tree, Simply Jewel or simplyjewel.com, book your appointments, because I'm telling you now, it's going to be it's going to be something. And you need somebody, a go-to person, in addition to your doctor. You're going to have to find someone that can help you during this time. But
Jewel, I'm telling you, these nurse practitioners. Well, and I do believe in some physicians. These people are seeing over 30 people a day,
yeah. Oh, I know.
and
Getting
that's
in
a slow
and
day.
out. Huh,
That's
girl.
a slow day. 30.
Oh,
They're
I know.
seeing realistically over 40, so you know they're not spending 30 minutes with any of them. They're
This
not
I know.
spending 10 if they can help it.
Yep, this is what I know. You, we'll talk about that off the air. Then we'll
Yeah,
decide.
I'm sure I opened a can that you probably learned something from.
Girl, let me tell you. You see, listen, like I say, I'm out here. I'm working. I'm actively working. And listen, Uh, listen, people, if you don't learn anything tonight on my channel, I would suggest that you do your research about me, because you're going to need my help. Guarantee you that you're going to need my help sooner than later.
Mm.
Well, Deb, our time has come. I was hoping people will come on. We'll talk. We'll keep talking. What I will say is, they're watching. They see us. They may not be on when we're on, but we do know that. Um, we do know that they are watching. And I listen, I've got lots to talk about. I've just been waiting for people to um come on and engage. But at this point, let me just say, I think that people are going to need our services, and all we can do is support, because at this point, um, they're getting used to the terminology. They're getting used to um, how to go about things, because a lot of people, they don't even know how to go about it. So I'm available, I'm here. um like I say, updates from last week. So next week, if you're still on, people, and you're still watching and you made it through this video, go ahead and put something in the comments section so we know that you're watching, we know that you're listening, and go ahead and put some topics down that you want us to talk about, because like it's time to talk about some serious topics when it comes to health and wellness. It's time to talk about what's going on in our community. It's time to talk about some of these l- let's just say workplaces that aren't noticing that their employees, they don't even notice that the employees are suffering. That's how disconnected people are. So, with that being said, Deb, I'm glad you came on. I was a little apprehensive to start, and I wasn't sure that you wanted to start later, which we can do. And I also want people to know that I may be coming on YouTube late night to see if anybody wants to talk late night, just to
Okay.
see the demographics. So if anybody's up late at night, they can't sleep, shoot me a text or shoot me a message and say, let's talk. Um, Perfectly fine with me. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Um, I'm going to stop sharing my page. And Deb, I'll talk to you. Are you doing something as soon as we hang up,
Mm-mm.
or?
No, you can call.
Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. As always, the best subject is at the last 30 minutes. But we'll be on next week, Lord willing. We'll be on and we'll try and have another subject for you all. But as we go out, I'm going to play some music for you, and go ahead and put some comments in the comments section while we're heading off. Peace and blessings, everyone. Good night.